Hey guys, Condi here, and we're not going to be doing a Let's Play today. Today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy 15. And to talk about it, we have my best buddy James here.
Who is extremely excited!
And this is going to be very opinionated, I will say that.
Yeah.
Because we are going to just say what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. We're going to have different categories, and we'll go down them. You'll see them. They'll be easily laid out.
If you don't like what we say, and if you disagree with our opinions, we want to hear about it. And if you agree with our opinions, we want to hear about it. And if you have your own opinion that has nothing to do with what we said, we want to hear about it. So put them down in the comments. Argue amongst each other. If you're the first comment, fifth comment, 356th comment, keep it going. This is...
Don't be quiet about this.
Yeah, this is a big deal for both of us.
Yeah.
We've been massive Final Fantasy fans for a long time.
Long time. I think my first Final Fantasy... Well, we'll go into that real quick.
Yeah.
What was your first Final Fantasy?
First ever Final Fantasy was 7. It
7.
was. I was sitting... Well, I'm going to go. I was sitting in my new step family. Just met my step family. Was trying to get along with them. In the back room, there was a PlayStation 1 with one game in it. It was the first CD. Didn't have any of the other ones.
Oh, God.
And just
I think it took me
started
years
playing
to
it.
find the CDs.
You know, brothers came over and were like, "Oh, cool, this game," and that's how it started. Final Fantasy 7.
My first Final Fantasy was actually 8. Funny enough.
Yeah.
I was like I was probably like 8 years old. 8 or 9 years old.
I was 9, yeah.
And I went to Blockbuster or something. Remember Blockbuster?
Oh, did you see the fossil picture of
Yeah,
the card?
yeah. But I went there and I rented this game and...
That's gonna bother me.
Oh, okay.
Fixed it.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, checked. Anyways.
But I rented Final Fantasy 8 and I only got to... I remember the part specifically. You're on a train and you have to defuse the bomb from the train.
Yep.
And you had to it was literally like press square, press triangle, press circle, and I, as a kid, I couldn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at it, and I realized I wasn't good at it because then after that I got 10, and I got stuck on a part that later in the years I beat instantly.
Yeah. Now that's another one of the big things is Final Fantasy 7 and 8. Fanboys, if you're watching this, you know. That's usually a big argument factor because it's whichever one you played first.
Yeah.
I played 8, didn't like it. I felt like it was a semi-copy of 7. And everybody that plays 8 first looks at 7 and goes, "Oh, it's a crappier version of 8." And
No,
the storylines are different, but it's the main characters are actually pretty similar.
Yeah, personally, I actually like 7 better than 8.
Oh.
So, that's...
Okay.
I played 7 later on, and I actually enjoyed the storyline of 7. I'm huge with storyline. And he's playing with my Cloud.
I'm not playing with him. He's a figurine.
Sorry.
He's
a figurine.
He is standing by himself with his fuzz.
It's dust.
It was
I'm
pretty
sorry.
fuzzy dust, okay?
But yeah, so that was my first Final Fantasy, and then I got into 10, and, well, that just...
Yeah,
we'll talk about
we'll
that
definitely
later.
be going into that.
We'll talk about that later.
All right, so as we said, this will be the first part we got to say right here is, for the first segment of this video, we're going to try... There will be spoilers, but we're not going to spoil the ending.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go into any huge spoilers if we can avoid it. If you don't know anything about the game and you want to find out about it for yourself, which, I'll be honest with you, I do recommend it.
Yeah, it's such
Play
a
the
good
game. Play the game, come back and watch this later, and, again, arguments in the comment below.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
Or agreeing in the comments below.
As you can tell, we're both very, inspired by this, and we just love this game.
It's been a long time for me. The other Final Fantasy games...
It's been a while since I really got into a Final Fantasy.
This one was big for me, so...
13 I didn't get huge into.
No,
so...
not me either. It says 12 I enjoyed, but it just wasn't as enthusiastic.
12 is my least favorite Final Fantasy of them all. But again,
where
we will talk about that later.
This is where disagreements begin, because I like that one. You have been warned, there will be spoilers. Last warning, will be spoilers.
Yeah, there definitely
in
will.
the beginning and last segment.
Tales dormit et liberi.
Alright, so first we're going to talk about where did you hear about the game? Like,
Yeah, so this one, I'm going to hit you with it first. Because as a matter of fact, I think I heard it from you first. So it really comes
yeah, you
down
did
to...
actually.
Yeah, I want to hear from you. Where did you hear it from first, and what did you hear, and what did you think?
All right, so when 13 just ended, so even before 13.2 came up, that's so weird saying 13.2, and then I have to say 13.3. This game was actually called 13 Versus. So before this was even called Final Fantasy 15, it was called 13 Versus. And there had been rumors of it for 8 years now.
Yeah, long time.
8 years, they were just like, okay, so this is coming out. The main character's name is Noctis. He's a prince. That's all we ever got. We got some videos of Noctis. Noctis has not changed since it. He looks the same as he looked in 13 Versus, as he looks now, but they didn't have the bros. I don't think they had the bros in it, because that didn't seem like how it was. But this game was supposed to take place in 13's world.
Which, you can see how some of it, they didn't completely scrap it. It's, like, so close.
The crystals and everything.
Yeah.
Well, crystals are always a huge thing in Final Fantasy, but this actually, so I do a lot of research on this shit.
Which is good.
This is actually the third game in a series they're calling the Crystallis Novaris. It's like Crystallis Novalis. I don't remember if I'm saying it right, but it was supposed to be 13, Type 0,
We'll talk about that one, too.
and 15. So they were going to be 3 in this, like, course of games that all had to do with, like, the crystal.
And it got a little weird, when they were trying to talk about, like, this game, and then, like, I'd heard just, battle, and it was so weird to hear it from you that it took so long to do it, so I kind of backed away from that. And just like, okay, I'll wait till it's out.
And then this game was supposed to be out last October. And then they held it back last September. Then they held it back for another 2 months. Like, I watched the reveal of this. It was like a 2-hour long live stream where they started talking about it. And I remember the end of the reveal was like, all right, guys, so guess what? And they showed this thing, and it was like, they rolled it down, and it was like October, November, December, and it just kept on going, and then it stopped on September, and then it went 30th. And everybody was like, oh yeah, they did that. And then it got held back yet again, another 2 months, because they had to put a DLC or something.
Yeah,
they didn't want...
Frustrated fans everywhere.
Yeah, they didn't want there to be a day one DLC, but guess what, guys? There was still a day one DLC because of Kingsglaive. They wanted to add Kingsglaive videos into the game.
At least it was free, though.
It was free. No, it was free.
Okay. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure I got that one. I don't remember paying an extra price. So
No.
Thank you for that.
Kingsglaive was actually really good too. If you guys have seen it, I suggest it. It's definitely it's the past. It tells you of what happens during chapter 1 of this game.
And that's kind of a big piece because it does kind of kick you in, but we'll go over that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
As for my 2 cents,
what else?
Yeah, my 2 cents on this one. When I first heard about it, I wasn't interested because I heard it was a 13 kind of knockoff type of thing, and I wasn't a big fan of 13. So I was like, oh, okay, and then I became interested when I saw the first preview, and it just showed this big monster coming up out of the ground, and you just see these guys just looking.
Titan, yeah,
you just see all these guys looking up at it, and they were like, "Oh, cool!" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a pretty cinematic, like a lot of these games are."
Yeah, Titan
and
was sick.
then they started moving, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" And then he's dipping, diving, ducking, dodging, and I was
it's
like,
Kingdom
"Oh,
Hearts
he's
fight.
playing. This isn't cinematic.
Yeah.
This is gameplay." Whoa!
The graphics
And
were insane.
that was a big piece that I really started to grab onto.
For this game, they used a new graphics engine. What did you think of the graphics?
Oh god. Okay. So I started playing the game, and this was again a recommendation from you to get it. And I was like, "Oh, I kind of want to wait a little bit. I kind of want to wait a little bit." And he just started to talk about it just a little bit, and I was like, "I have to." So I get the game, and it starts you off with great cinematics, as all of the games do. But what really impressed me was the level of immersion that this game took you into was further than 13 did to me. It didn't feel linear like that game did sometimes. And the graphics really helped with that, because you get used to Enix and their graphics, and everyone always talks about, well, what if other games had used these graphics
Square
engines?
Enix graphics, yeah.
And that happens a lot. But being able to see different things, like we're talking about food, landscapes,
God, it looks
creatures,
So good.
the
wanted to
realism,
eat the food.
oh god, yeah. The realism that you get from everything, the sleek shine of the cars, and then you've got the little rough scenery that you go into. You turn into a desert biome and everything, it feels hotter. And, little comments they make you feel all of these things. The light ambience, as it always is, so impressive to look at. But it was, to me, this game was so much more, graphics-wise, Final Fantasy games go huge, with giant cities and all the airships and everything. This game focused on the little stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We're talking pinball machines.
I love that.
Forks and knives on the tables. The way that, just the clothing moves, how it interacts with weather when you get wet.
Yep.
Different
Did you know you could actually get hair gel so your hair doesn't get wet?
I didn't.
Like in the graphics?
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah,
no.
there's an item you can buy called hair gel.
Oh, God.
And it makes it so your hair doesn't get wet.
And, and
I think it's hilarious.
whenever you're seeing these little graphical things, one of the most impressive things that I kind of noticed was how incredibly detailed, and look at this yourself when you're playing. Go near your car when you have a sleek, shiny paint job. Not one of the really detailed ones with all the cool stuff on it. Just like a regular matte black paint job. And look at the reflection of your character from the car and how perfect the details are. This game was impressive. This game was beautiful. And to see all these things come together in an open world was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. No, I completely agree. It's like literally, I didn't do much fast traveling because
Yeah.
I liked the scenery.
Yeah.
I liked driving around. I liked seeing like the big volcanoes, the giant arches that go through like the land, like
The second, once you get through the wet zone,
yeah,
you can
the
see it, yeah.
meteor, like
Yeah.
that was it was stunning.
And if you think about it, what game have you played? And if you think of one, comments. What game have you played where you can actively sit for, we're talking like 7 minutes, just being driven around, and you're enjoying the game?
Yeah, you're enjoying the interactions.
You're just
It's, I loved it. Prompto would just randomly go, "Hey, I want to go take a picture of that. Can we pull over?" And I'm just like, "Yes,
Absolutely.
That's so cool. Like
Yo.
that is awesome." And just it's those little things that made this game so great. Like, I didn't miss the giant cities. We did have one.
Yeah,
we did
you
have two giant cities. Well,
One-
three.
One
but-
medium-ish sized city and then two big cities.
Yeah, the water city.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But again,
the water
well,
city was beautiful.
On the graphics, another piece to this before we go moving on or anything crazy. The biomes were not just the ones that were in the outdoors. And yes, when you went into like a kind of muggy looking area with bugs and fishing and stuff like that, you felt it.
Yeah.
But the other piece I noticed is sometimes you go into caves with ice or near the volcano with
Just the
fire.
breath coming
You
off.
feel
It's just-
everything.
yeah.
You feel all these different things, and it was incredibly immersive. And that's because of the graphics. Yeah, there were other pieces that bring it in, but the graphics was a gigantic part of,
Even the weather.
immersion.
The weather.
And the weather.
Like, holy. Like,
How different characters reacted to the weather.
people make jokes like Mario with Square Enix graphics.
Yeah.
Or like Zelda with Square Enix graphics. It's like
Pokemon's another one.
Pokemon with Square Enix graphics. And
There's a reason.
there's a reason they do it.
Yeah.
Because Square Enix just does it right.
Yep. And they've been getting better and better, actually. However, on that note, I will not be gushing positive. I'm going to make sure that I remember the things that I didn't like so much, or maybe I noticed. And one big thing was, you have the four main characters that you interact with all the time. There are other main characters. However, there is a significant, maybe not significant, but at least noticeable difference between the main characters and certain NPCs. People that are just vendors.
Yeah, I will agree.
You know,
with you
and
there.
because you see, Nokt's hair and his coat moves so gloriously and everything.
Yeah.
Everything's just so perfect. And then when you interact with certain vendors, there's a significant drop in. Okay, that guy's not quite as graphically enhanced as the four main ones, and I get that. I do.
You can't do every NPC.
But I'm not gonna go through without
Yeah.
saying it.
That they did that, and that's understandable. And I already did have some FPS problems.
Okay.
Every
yeah.
once in a while, my game would drop an FPS, and you noticed it. At least I did. I don't know if that's just because I game all literally.
Yeah, it's
all
one of
the
those.
time
Where
now.
I think I did as well, but maybe not as much
And-
as you because you do a lot of this kind of stuff, so it's more noticeable to you.
If they did that, I feel like the FPS would have dropped even more.
Yeah, very true. Yeah,
So-
there's no arguing that.
And I played it on PlayStation 4. What did you play it on?
Xbox.
Xbox. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it
we
was
played
different.
it on Xbox.
Yeah, I was gonna get it. That was actually one little quick note on there. I thought it was gonna be PlayStation only.
Nope. it
That was one of the
Xbox and
things that
PlayStation.
somebody told me.
'Cause,
They was like, "Oh, it's PlayStation only."
Square Enix Final Fantasy is now it's not Sony exclusive anymore.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's enough on the graphics for now.
Yeah,
We're gonna
and if
move
you
on
guys
to
want to talk more about the graphics, definitely comments below.
Yeah.
We will be there.
if there was anything in particular you saw maybe that you thought was particularly breathtaking, maybe, or maybe something that you saw that you didn't like, maybe the way
Maybe you noticed something.
the way the grass went, then you didn't
the
like
way
it. or-
Arden's scarf moved. I don't know. Fuck Arden. That's all I have to say.
I don't even want to talk.
I
about
like Arden.
it. I don't even want to talk. About it. Alrighty then.